To Wyoming Republican Senator John Barrasso, who says the cuts are probably going to be the lesser of the two evils, the other being higher taxes to offset them. Senator, given that choice, what do you do?
Well, I believe that the sequester is going to go into place on March 1st. The president, it was originally his idea about a year and a half ago. Congress passed it during the debates. He said it would never happen, but yet he has not proposed a solution. And unless you actually pass another law, the cuts hit on March 1st. You know, when the rating agencies go and downgrade us, Neil, the reason they're doing it is because they haven't yet seen a credible plan to provide the confidence that we're really going to deal with our financial problems. And the sequester is just one step.
Do you think, though, Senator, that the ratings agencies also pounce when they see charades like this, where you're up against a brinksmanship and a deadline, and everyone is going to losing their heads and going crazy, and we keep doing this sort of stuff?
Well, I'd like to have a big long-term deal that functionally looks at the biggest drivers of spending in this country. We need to really do the right thing in terms of saving and strengthening Medicare as well as Social Security for the next generation. But right now, they're both on a path to bankruptcy. We need to take responsible action. I would love to see the kind of an arrangement, a deal that you had when Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill worked together in a bipartisan way. This is going to need to include tax reform, but the president really has not worked, I think, in a bipartisan way to get to that.
You know what worries me? I mentioned this at the outset of the show, Senator, is the president really seems to have given up the debt fight. It's just not in him. He's not interested. I guess he talked about the $4 trillion. They're close to cobbling together this sequestration cut added in there. And that's it. That's going to be it. The $4 trillion in budget savings, which to me still seems like specious math. Don't look for him to do much more than that. The debt thing is a dead thing with him. Am I right?
Well, I think you are. You know, it was interesting. The State of the Union last night, it was a laundry list of things that he would like to do, all of which are going to cost a lot of money. I still haven't seen his budget for this year.
So you didn't believe him when he said it won't add a dime to the deficit?
The American people, Neil, are not going to be fooled a second time. He said the same thing about the health care law and not adding a single dime.
Well, I think what he was implying, though, Senator,
better.
you know him better than I do. You know your whole town better than I ever will. But I think what he was saying, well, it won't add a dime to the deficit because I'm going to raise taxes on folks to pay for it. That's my opinion.
And it's interesting. It's interesting because getting to answer your first question about the debt, the president talked about young people graduating from college with huge educational debts, but every child born in America is born with an incredible debt based on the fact that we have over a $16 trillion debt in this country. It is a mountain of debt. So I think that's interesting when the president focuses on an individual student's college debt, that graduate can't find a job from the area for which he or she is prepared, but ignores completely the debt on every American.
All right, Senator, always good seeing you. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.